So, finally, somebody in the WNBA said what needed to be said. Not like, and this is not like a way of like saying anything's okay, but actually lives in reality. Lived in reality. And it is the coach of the Connecticut Sun talking about the online crap. There's a lot of stuff in general because it isn't even online. Because like the funniest thing is, it is just the way the media are controlling it, and it's like letting them become the story. Because again, we saw, if you guys haven't seen, like on Twitter, there was obviously one person who had like a banned nails with Dejanay Carrington, which is, of all the like bad things, the most minor thing. Like, should it have been allowed? No. Should the person be told to take it off? Yes. But like, of all the like bad things to have there, that might be one of the most minor things. Because could it have been race flagged? Yes. But like, you don't, it might have just been a long nails thing. Like, long nails are long nails. But at the same time, like, we've seen Jamel Hill, who obviously comes out of the woodwork every 4 years. We know why. But she's there saying, like, see, it's not just online. And it's like, you have picked one person out of a crowd of thousands and said, you know what? If it's 1 in 1,000 of them are real people is a problem, then that means it's a huge issue. It's like, no. And that's the thing. The huge thing. And what she's saying here, that the players they've received is like, let's not let that be the story. Which is exactly, again, what the media are trying to do. And in fairness, all of us to an extent are like that, because some of the little things are like, do end up being a story. I try as much as possible to talk about basketball, but obviously you'll see it on this channel. Like, occasionally I will. Occasionally I do dabble in the like, for lack of a better word, like the drama. Quite a bit of the time I will. But at the same time, like, the main thing is always basketball. The main thing should always be basketball. And let's take a listen to what she said. I'm going to play it at 1.5 times speed because it's 3 minutes and I don't want it to take up most of the video.
Just maintaining the professionalism. There's been a lot of commentary around this series, and she talked about racial remarks she's received this year and how she's never experienced that in her 11-year career. And I just wanted to know, Dejanay also posted earlier on her Instagram an email, a really offensive email that someone sent to her, coaching this team and what the players have had to experience. I just wonder if you have any thoughts or comments on what they've had to go through, and also on Alyssa's call for the league to potentially step in and do something about it.
I will say, like, the call for the league to do something about it, the league can't do anything about it. Like, we can all, I think, just reasonable people can know, like, the league. What the league can do is make sure that teams, maybe the league can try help players deal with it better on social media. The league can help put situations in play for players they don't see a lot of the stuff they see as little as possible. That's what the league can do. And then individual teams can make sure that their security is better. So if there is anything in the arena, that it's dealt with. They're the two things that, like, I do think obviously the security dealt with the Caitlin Clark situation. The guy didn't get kicked out. In the end, didn't get kicked out, but like, he was spoken to, and obviously the person that had the Dejanay thing realistically should have been told by security, take it off. Like, that's what individual teams can do. That's on teams necessarily, not the league, because they're the ones in the stadium. Like, the league don't supply security, but that's realistically the only thing the league can do. The only things the league can do, and if they do that, it's definitely a step in the right direction. Is it perfect? No, but the reality is, as I will always say, there are dickheads everywhere. There are crazy people everywhere. It's just nothing's going to stop it, but minimizing the effects of it on the players is really the way the league needs to look at this.
Yeah, I think it's, sport is a microcosm of life and of society. And I think right now, not right now, but we've seen a lot of racism, sexism, homophobia, transphobia throughout the course of our country. Sport is no exception, and it's unacceptable, to be quite honest. I think the thing that frustrates me the most is that, and is that I say we because I work in television as well, but we in the media have to do a better job of not allowing trolls in social media to become the story. And I feel like we have allowed trolls in social media to frame the narrative of what the story is.
I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more. And look, even though in some people's eyes I might be one of those trolls on social media, and I really don't. At the same time, like, if it is, it is. whether you believe that or not, like, I'm cool with it. I do what I do. I don't have any moral or ethical problems with what I'm doing, but at the same time, she's on the money. Like, the story in the media should always be about basketball. And I think the issue is that it spirals. I think it goes from, like, let's just say something happens on social media, something happens, and then it just starts spiraling and spiraling and spiraling, and that's when you suddenly get the Cheryl Swoop situation happening. That's when you suddenly get Brittany Sykes just randomly calling out Caitlin Clark. That's when you get, like, a lot of the other situations. But yeah, let's take a listen.
And it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. And we have to do a better job. I realize that, everybody's job is predicated on what's read, what's clicked on, what's whatever, what's watched. I understand that. But I also feel like we have a responsibility to be better when it comes to what we're representing, when it comes to, I don't want to say protecting, because these women don't need protected, but when it comes to making sure that the narrative is about what we do. And it's not about who's being attacked, how they're being attacked, and we make that newsworthy. I applaud our team for maintaining their professionalism. Not just our team; it's a lot of teams in our league. It's a lot of athletes, not just in our league, who get attacked like this. And so I applaud the professionalism. We continue to encourage them to.
I stand by that. Like, obviously, like, when it comes to some of the other stuff where it's like, if you look at teams that haven't really had any issues, it's like, say, no one's called out the Wings. No one's called out these teams, because I think the reality situation is that, like, the less you show, not even show yourself, the less you, like, show you're bothered by the situation, the less people will say anything. It's like, whatever with the Sky, it is what it is with them. But it's like, I think if it wasn't for some of the stuff Dejanay Carrington has tweeted about Caitlin Clark, none of the Sun discourse is really a thing. The problem is that, like, when you start to feed the trolls, it can be pretty bad. And I do think they are right that there are, like, she's right, the professionalism of some of these players to just keep, and a lot of these players to just keep going. And, like, in fairness, Liz Thomas did wait till after the series to say it. For a lot of these players, because every one of these players is receiving the social media stuff, and it's obvious that, like, there is a small percentage of WNBA players that are coming out and talking about it, and it's just, I don't know. I think it's, like, it's really hard for them to deal with, and if they haven't dealt with it before, it's understandable that they're maybe not dealing with the best. But yeah, she's on the money here.
Silence the noise, control what they can control. I don't go on social media for that reason, and it's protecting my peace. But I also realize that that's a privilege for me. And so I just encourage everybody to take a step back and think about if it's your sons or your daughters or your nieces or your nephews or your children, for goodness sakes. Because if my children were being harassed like this, I'm not sure what I would do. I'm not sure what I would do. So we've got to get back to keeping the main thing. And I'm not talking about criticism, because that comes with the territory. Like, that is what it is. Like, that's part of it. I get that. But the narrative doesn't need to be controlled by people who are just, on their keyboards spewing hate and negative vitriol everywhere.
Yeah. No better way of saying it. And if you disagree with this, no matter what side you are on, if you disagree with what she's saying, I just don't, like, I just don't know. I just don't know. Like, if it is, like, if it's a situation where we start to see people complaining about this, of all things, like, I think any reasonable person will just, like, can't disagree with anything she said, no matter what side you were on. Like, when some of the biggest quote-unquote Caitlin Clark homers and Dejanay Carrington are both agreeing with what she said, something's right. And I think at the end of the day, the vast majority of people, no matter where you're from, no matter what way you look at things, the vast majority of people are just in general good people. But that is huge. It's, like, spot on. No one should be subjected to hateful garbage. It should be condemned, but also can't be controlled. It's not a representative of most fans. It shouldn't be the center of conversation. And that's the thing. Like, she was asked that question by someone who wanted it to become the center of conversation. She was asked that question and just like when I don't know what her name was, the one who just kept asking like Caitlin Clark about Taylor Swift and stuff, who I said DiJonai was laughing about the eye poke with the this thing. Like, a lot of these journalists don't want to make the main thing because they know that the drama is what gets clicks. And like, again, I'm someone that knows that firsthand. Like, when there's mad drama stuff going on, it's what gets clicks. And then it starts to spiral, and that's how you get a bigger situation. The reality is that whether it be, well, social media is social media. What happens on social media is what happens on social media. But especially the legacy media cannot be trying to get clicks to drive stuff on social media and making it about anything but basketball. I think she's on the money. Fair play. Stephanie White on the money here.